Are you ready?
Agility from the champion.
Oh, deep six!
That could be a delivered this deep six.
This is episode 154 of the Aftermath podcast, and I am joined here tonight by Shiv, aka the Hindu Prince. How are you, man?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Good. Welcome back.
Yeah, man. Been too long. Sorry about that. Now that I'm settled in my new place, no Wi-Fi issues, I'm ready to rock and roll.
Nice. Those of you guys that are watching, we had a pretty decent weekend of wrestling. We had Saturday night's main event, SmackDown the night before that, Saturday night's main event. We had Double or Nothing on Sunday, followed by Raw, NXT last night, and then Dynamite tonight. We had a pretty big couple days. And if you're a TNA fan, hey, listen, you got more TNA tomorrow, and SmackDown on Friday, and then a live collision on Saturday. This is like an everyday thing that's turning out to be here. And we have WWE Clash in Italy, which starts at 2 p.m. our time, and we'll do a nice early post show at 6. So a lot of good wrestling this week. But we're here to talk AEW Dynamite.
AEW, man.
So overall, what did you think of the show?
I think it was a good show. I think it's interesting to see after a pay-per-view where they pivot to, what storylines. Obviously, MJF 3 times, right? His celebration. Who's the challenger going to be? Seeing where it goes. I know you and I connected about Kevin Knight. So, it was kind of dope to kind of see where that was going, where they're planting the seeds towards. Pretty good show, for sure. Still very interested to see how it goes, and definitely catch the rest of Collision soon.
Yeah, this was AEW had a very, very strong show. And before we jump into Dynamite, what did you think of AEW Double or Nothing that just took place in New York?
I thought it was a really solid show. From start to finish, I really enjoyed the Stadium Stampede match. It definitely had some interesting spots, that's for sure. Takeshita Okada, I think, was probably in my opinion, I was most stoked for that one. Seeing Fletcher at the end, and then, the death of Takeshita, that sucks. And then, of course, leading up to the main event, I feel like the Owen tournament is, kind of playing out the way I feel like, the storyline kind of should. But that was a hell of a match between Swerve and Bandito. Bandito just puts on banger after banger, man. The women's match was fantastic, that 4-way. Tekla's run has been very, very solid, actually. And, she calls people a stupid B word, but, man, she backs it up. She's got a lot of fight in that little body of hers, man. And, outside of that, pretty solid show. It was cool to see, I'll say Cope and Christian, because it's so hard. I get caught. I keep wanting to say Edge, but that was a good match. It was cool to see Beth come back, and kind of get her lick back in. So kind of dope to go from there. How about you? What'd you think?
Great pay-per-view. I have to go back and watch a little bit because there is some parts I fell asleep in the middle. But Stadium Stampede was hands down my favorite match. A lot of great entertainment spots there. It was really not a bored moment in that match. The match, built up and eventually spread it out to backstage, which is great, and what appeared to be catering and the hallways, and there's some good spots there. We had a very good match with Darby Allin and MJF. The tag match was really good as well. Enjoyed the women's Owen Hart tournament match that we got with Mina. And, overall, a solid show. Really no complaints. So, it was good.
One of the things I popped for the hardest was the introduction for Jericho's team before this Stadium Stampede, when Omega started coughing with the cigar. I thought that was really hilarious. I love that whenever they, I mean, because at the end of the day, it's entertainment, right? Whenever they, they put in a modicum of humor into it, it's nice. And, I mean, yeah, it's serious. You're about to do some crazy stuff, but that was funny.
Yeah, great show. Stadium Stampedes never ever disappoint, and I don't think we'll ever see one without Chris Jericho in the match. Or maybe there has been, I don't even remember, but great match that we had there. So overall, good show. Really
Yeah.
good show. I was away. I was in New Hampshire all weekend, so I was not able to catch it until yesterday. So I had to make sure I got it in before Dynamite today. So I managed to get it in yesterday, and it was a good show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as Monday was my travel day to come back. So, but talking about Dynamite tonight, we had a pretty decent show. I feel like they set up some filler feuds until they get to the big ones come summertime, and then also they're setting up some future feuds as well. Hence the Owen Hart tournament. But first, the show opens up with we see Kenny Omega in the back. I guess we can call it training room with Will Osprey, and basically Kenny Omega gets into the conversation with Osprey, saying, "Hey, listen, you know." You can't trust these Death Riders. Like, really? Like, why the Death Riders? And he's asking Will Ospreay, like, why didn't you ask for me to help you? But we see that Will says that he hasn't shown up much lately, and then Kenny rebuttals and says,
Oh no, I think we lost Wayne. Wayne, yeah, well, basically what Wayne was saying, essentially the opening segment here. You back?
Yes, my internet cut out.
was-
Sorry about that. Thank you
You're
for
good.
carrying that.
Yeah, no, I was just saying you were basically talking about essentially the segment between Omega and Osprey, and then, of course, the entrance of Moxley towards the end there, basically telling Omega he's right, that he should be careful, in a very Moxley Ambrose kind of esque. It was interesting. Like again, like you said, intertwined. But I thought it was cool that Osprey was able to call Omega out on him not being there. Now, granted, Omega obviously has got his issues medically and stuff, and he's got his outside projects. But what do you think of Osprey aligning with the Death Riders in this whole storyline there?
Well, it was weird when I finally jumped back into AEW a little bit more not too long ago. It was kind of a weird dynamic for me to see, like as if I thought I missed something, but I really didn't. It's just that Death Riders have kind of shifted their attitudes ever so subtly, and now they're basically just about in between face and a tweener. Sort of. They
Right.
lean more towards face than heels right now, but maybe kind of tweener still. I think it's okay for now. And I'm interested to see where they go with it, But Kenny's just kind of reminding like Will Ospreay, hey, listen, we know their past. I mean, they tried to take out my career and yours, and now they're on your side, like, what's the deal? So Kenny basically is just like, hey, listen, just be careful,
For sure.
And then Moxley walks in and says, good advice. So we'll see how that goes. I don't think Moxley and the Death Riders will play a factor in costing Will Ospreay. I think they very well could be there to help if there's any shenanigans on the outside when he finally does get his title match against whom we believe to be MJF.
Correct.
So, but yeah. So to answer your question, it's a very, very interesting dynamic right now. We'll see where that goes.
It's definitely interesting. I mean, it's got me hooked.
Yeah. Let's. You know what? Now that we're talking about Osprey, let's jump right into the Owen Hart tournament really quick. To
Hmm.
see what matches that came out of that tonight. We had the main event of one of the matches. We had the main event, Jungle Boy against Mark Davis, and let me tell you something. Like low key, I enjoy any match that Mark Davis is in.
He puts on bangers, bro.
He really does, and he knows how to sell too and put other guys over. Like I don't know what it is. Like I know like it's just he just has good matches, and I don't know. What do you think of Mark Davis,
There are some
the
guys that
Dunkezilla?
there's guys that present to be this big bad monster and stuff, but to your point, everything that Mark Davis does, I feel like even when he's selling, looks incredibly impactful. And that's why like people are intrigued by his character. I think that's why they put the national title on him. I think that's good, give him some shine because like I'm not saying his work rate or his selling is Dolph Ziggler esque, but I feel like they use him in that way to make others obviously look like great. And I mean, I don't think he gets past Osprey and the Owen, but I mean, he just beat Jack Perry for the national title. It'd be silly to have him lose again to him in the Owen here. But to your point, guy's a great wrestler, man. He's just fun to watch, and like some of the stuff he does, you're like, wow, like big dudes really, really showing out.
Yeah, this match wasted no time starting because Mark Davis attacked Perry before the match even started. Um, but before this, Jungle Boy shows up on the bus with Luchasaurus driving, which I thought was pretty cool. And that's basically Jack Perry's entrance into the arena tonight before he starts his match with Mark Davis. But yeah, this match just slapped. At some point, Jack Perry's boots came off, and he was wrestling like the last half of this match barefoot. Jack Perry had an impressive pile driver on Mark Davis, which he nearly didn't get him up, but got him up. Davis nearly won with a lariat early
That lariat
on
was
in the
sick.
match.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he turned him inside out like that, and good call on the shoes because they put it in the finish. Kind of cost them there slipping on the top rope, and then Davis hits that sick. What is it? That pile driver.
yes,
Oh
from
man,
like from at least the middle rope.
right? And then that's night, right? And there you go, Dunkzilla
Unbelievable.
indeed.
Mark Davis gets the win because of the pile driver. So he advances on that side of the tournament. It's going to be him against Will Osprey. Obviously, I you got my pick already. I mean, Mark Davis is going to have a very good showing with Will Osprey, which I believe they announced had to be next week. But I expect Will Osprey to advance all the way through and win the finals, whom I believe will be against Swerve Strickland.
Yeah, because Swerve has he's got Brody King in the other Owen match for tonight, where Brody King goes up against Claudio. They have a banger of a match. Claudio just puts on amazing matches. If you're ever new to wrestling and you want to see wrestling, watch Claudio wrestle. It's a thing of beauty, right? And Brody King obviously gets the win there. Him and Swerve, they've got their little history. You have the history between Osprey and Mark Davis. A nice little semifinals on both there.
Yeah, Claudio versus Brody King tonight. That match was slapping meat like you wouldn't believe. The chops going back and forth, the stiff hits. Brody wins with the clothesline. So that was a very good match. So yeah, I can't see. I mean, I can't see Brody getting past Swerve because having Osprey versus Swerve is a
It's box office.
big match. Yeah, so you basically have Will Ospreay going against a former AEW champion in your finals. Will Osprey wins, this just levels him up, keeps leveling him up as we get closer to the summertime. In which I believe they said that the finals of this Owen Hart tournament is going to be at which
Wembley Stadium.
All In.
That's right, All In.
So they'll be building that for like 3 months.
Oh yeah, they'll. If I'm not mistaken, I think they'll do the finals of the tournament at Forbidden Door, and then obviously they'll build towards All In. Whoever that is. But it's interesting because now if it does play out the way, unless barring injury or something unforeseen, if it does end up being Osprey and Swerve, you have Swerve who's literally wanting to show everybody that he'll do anything to get his title back, and then you have Osprey now that he's tapping into this Death Rider-esque, right? So interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I feel like the Death Riders are going to kind of like be there to, to help out with any shenanigans. But I don't see Death Riders turning on Will Ospreay, not even remotely close. Maybe till after
no way.
Maybe after a title win, but yeah, the Owen Hart tournament is underway. I'm enjoying these matches so far, and we're definitely going to get a really, really good finals. From what I see, it's probably going to be more than likely Will Ospreay against Swerve, with Ospreay winning. So, let's see, where do we go next? Let's talk Jericho versus Ricochet. Man, Jericho is what? He's 50?
At least. I feel like Jericho was 50, 20 years ago.
And he worked a really good match tonight. He did a lion salt. He's doing crossbodies off the top rope against Ricochet, making Ricochet look really good. What did you think of this opening match that we had tonight?
It was good to see Jericho out there again. It's like he's found some weird renaissance, if you will, because to your point, he's not wrestling a match as somebody of that age that he could based on his arsenal. He's not necessarily going for the Judas effect or something like that. He's going for the lion salt. He's doing more athletic stuff. So, that's good. And Ricochet, that dude can wrestle, man. He does a lot of things that a lot of people can't do, wish they could. You know what I mean? So it's a good match. Good to see. I'm curious though to see like where do they go now for here? Like what's next, right? Like what does Jericho need to do? Like you know what I mean? Like I could see Ricochet, obviously before the controversy with his tweet, I believe he had like one of the most biggest, I thought he was like one of the top heels in the company. He was getting booed left, right, and center, and then he kind of mucks it up with his stupid tweet, and we'll see what happens. Obviously he's kind of taking a back seat there, so maybe this is like a bit of a punishment. I don't know, but I just don't get okay, Jericho, we're not going to put up a world title on him now, are we? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we building towards here?
No, I think they're done with Ricochet for now. From here, but then as we saw, Jericho did get the win tonight. With the Judas effect and then the lion salts, which is funny because somebody from Ricochet's squad was like, the lion salt's so weak. And then, sure enough, Jericho wins with the last move that he did on Ricochet tonight was the lion salt. So I thought that was pretty funny. But then we get Tommaso Ciampa. He attacks Jericho from behind. So I need to see an explanation of why that happened. Unless maybe Tommaso Ciampa is going to join up with Ricochet and his group. Who knows? Tommaso Ciampa is kind of flying solo right now, doing his own thing for the time being. So he attacks Jericho. So, obviously we're going to get Jericho versus Tommaso Ciampa. Where they're looking to go with that, we'll have to see.
Well, I will say, though, at least it'll continue Jericho's bald crusade that he's on. You know what I mean? I think one by one, he's just going to go against bald dudes. I think that's why Mark Briscoe's growing his hair out now. But no, ideally, yeah, Ciampa, I like that he's just got this crazy, to your point, he's flying solo. He's going to do whatever he wants. and he's bald. So yeah, why not give him to Jericho? Let's see what they do. But no, I'm trying to think now who else is bald that will probably end up now on this run with Jericho.
I mean, I don't know if they'll necessarily match up with Jericho, but like, what's it? What are the FTR guys? Dax. Dax,
Yeah,
right?
I
He's
can
bald.
Dax. Yeah, he's
Tommaso.
bald as well too, right?
There was a number of bald guys. I mean, we saw about 20 to 30 bald guys in the opening of AEW Dynamite 2 weeks ago. Um, but I mean, maybe they could do something with Johnny Hungy.
I was about to say, yeah,
Not necessarily
for
like a match, but
the
just like a
quarter.
little crossover thing.
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of bald dudes back there, but would have been interesting to see MJF bald though. Not gonna lie.
No, I agree. That would have been funny.
We'll get to MJF in a short bit, but for those of you guys that are watching, feel free to hit that subscribe button as we have a lot more content coming out to you guys. Join us. Feel free to leave a comment. We'd like to hear what you guys thought of tonight's AEW Dynamite. So, we had the Edge and Christian promo tonight, and that was a little bit of a teaser because I thought we were going to get the 5-second pose as Edge. Christian didn't initially want to do it, but Edge was egging him on, and then Christian's like, we don't have that technology anymore. And then Edge is like, nope, sure enough, this is why I saved for this occasion. He pulls out a bag with at least 25 disposable cameras.
Right.
That he handed out to people in the crowd. And I was just laughing at this. And I thought we were going to get the 5-second pose. Basically, they give their props to FTR, saying you guys are the top guys, but we are the tippy top guys as they hold up their championship belts. And then Edge's like, hey, let's do a 5-second pose. We haven't done this in 25 years, and Christian didn't want to do it. So as they're about to take their 5-second pose for celebrating their win, they get attacked from behind by Finlay and Connor. Finlay hits Christian's arm with the shillelagh, and they trap Christian's arm under the steps, and Connor stomps on the steps, which had Christian's arm trapped underneath. Connor spears Edge, and then Finlay and Connor do their own version of the 5-second pose, and they called it the new AEW Tag Team Champions. What did you think of this whole segment?
I thought it was very entertaining. The benefit of those with flash photography always had me as a kid. I always thought that was funny. I mean, there's always those iconic photos like where Austin would come out, hit his pose, and you would see just all the flashing, or The Rock and Hogan, that iconic stare down, and you see all the flashing going around. So, like, when I saw him pull out those 25 disposable cameras, I thought that was funny. He was getting gassed just trying to distribute those things. That was, also funny. And then I was a little annoyed because, like, come on, just give us, give the people what they want. But it's another way for us to hate Clark Connors and David Finlay, some real heel stuff there. They were not there for the nostalgia act. They want the titles, obviously. And so, I mean, yeah, they're bad guys doing bad guy stuff. I will say, though, like, that spot where he jumps on the steel steps on the arm. Yeah, I mean, look, man, ouch, right? Like, that looks yikes. So I don't know, man. I'm curious to see, like, okay, I guess those are the first challengers lined up for the titles then, right? So we'll see what happens there. Or do they say, hey, look, we'll relinquish the title? Who knows, right? We'll see what happens there. But yeah, they beat the brakes off of them.
Oh yeah, they definitely did. I mean, listen, this AEW tag team division could very well be on the verge of exploding come summertime if they happen to get Motor City Machine Guns,
right?
And they get the New Day.
Mm-hmm.
By the time Wembley comes, we could be seeing a big time big time fantasy tag team matchups with Edge and Christian. Um, who am I? Matt and Nick Jackson.
Yeah.
In there, New Day, Motor City Machine Guns. We could be seeing some big time major ladder match if they happen to get. So rumors are flying that Motor City Machine Guns are on the radar and quite possibly even New Day. So
Right.
this would be big, and this AEW tag team division is very good as well. It's just a very very deep division all around. So to add them two in there,
It's box office, and to your point, right around the summertime too, once the legalities of it all gets out of the way, it could be, huge. I mean, even I'm curious though. I mean, I don't know. I think the Machine Guns pop back up in TNA, if I'm honest. I mean, it just unless they're going. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think they get the best value at this point in time? You think it'll be that final run in TNA, or you think it'll be with AEW?
I think it'll be like AEW because WWE is still partnering with TNA and that going on, and I just don't think TNA will be the landing spot.
Yeah.
But and AEW being a major promotion, listen, they came to WWE and nobody really ever thought that would ever happen. So you can never say never. But I think AEW would be a great landing spot and get for maybe like a good 1-2 year contract out of them.
Sure, for sure. Because to your point, there'll be dream matches all over that place in that tag division.
There are matches that Motor City Machine Gun has not had with the current tag team divisions, current tag teams that AEW has right now. They've never been in the ring with Edge and Christian. They've never, quite possibly, they've probably been in the ring with Young Bucks, but much earlier era.
The Generation Me days, yeah.
Yeah, we may see them cross over with New Day. We didn't get the New Day and Motor City Machine Guns. That didn't happen because they were on separate brands. So yeah, there's a lot, and then not to mention FTR. So they could really outdo themselves here, and maybe outdo anything that WWE's ever done by having 6-7 great tag teams in one match and a ladder match of some sort.
I think that would be money. You know what I mean? Sign me up.
Yeah, hands down.
The spots would be insane.
Yeah, that would be crazy. So, we have a little bit more left to talk about here. So we saw at the end of the pay-per-view of AEW Double or Nothing, we see MJF with his win as expected, and Darby Allin's being stretchered out, or at least we thought, and MJF's at the top of the ramp celebrating. Then we see the appearance of Kevin Knight, and then he gets on the top rope and splashes Darby Allin at Double or Nothing, while Darby Allin's on the what do we call it?
The stretcher, the gurney, yeah.
Yep. So that was the initial heel turn to end the pay-per-view. And that carries over into tonight. When we had Kevin Knight come out. He did a promo. Kind of looking a little bit like Trick Williams a little bit.
Like Trick Light.
Yeah. But he comes out to a chorus of boos. And he says that he told Darby not to let him down, and that Darby did let him down by losing the match. And it was funny, he said that Darby Allin blew it like the 76ers. He let us all down. He decided he wasn't going to trust. Basically, Kevin Knight says he decided he's not going to trust the process anymore, and that he's going to take matters into his own hands. He says he was the last person to humble MJF, and that it should have been him in the main event against Darby Allin. And he says he's here to take over the whole company. He says, he trusted Darby, And Darby told him not to waste any time. And when he saw that he couldn't get the job done, um, he decided just to attack him. So we got that little explanation. Then we see Mike Bailey come out, and Mike Bailey says, what he did to Darby was a big mistake, but this could all be fixed. If he owns up to it and apologizes. Mike Bailey holds out his hand to shake his hand, and Kevin Knight just kind of walks right through him, brushing him off. And as Mike Bailey had his back turned, we see Kevin Knight attack Mike Bailey with the microphone from behind. So that answered our question of what we had talked about a little bit earlier in the day. I sort of figured we were going to get something with Bailey and Knight. I wasn't 100% too sure what it was, but we got the heel turn on Mike Bailey as well. And then we see Mike Bailey in a promo later on the night, closer to the end of the show, issuing a challenge to Kevin Knight. What do you think of this whole heel turn of Kevin Knight and this program that is appearing to start with Mike Bailey?
I think it's it's funny you mentioned Trick Williams. There was that photo from I think a few weeks back of Trick, Kevin Knight, and Leon Slater from TNA, and they were all just having a drink together or something, and it was kind of dope because they're all really talented up and coming athletes right now, right? And and the culture is there and everything like that. But Kevin Knight's heel turn makes him interesting, at least for now, because before, great athlete, you know what I mean? But okay, there's a lot of great athletes, right? And he's got the look, but now he's got kind of an edge to it. I think that, his match against Omega earlier before the heel turn, obviously, oh, wow, this kid can really go. And then you see, okay, well, they're going to want to put a title on him. Him and Speedball, their history there, they started one-on-one against each other. And then they kind of got thrown in together as a tag team back when Tony Khan was booking week to week or show to show. And that history is there, but you could always see that Kevin Knight always was a little flashier. He was always a little, kind of more of the braggart than Mike Bailey was. But it worked because they both, had the chemistry, they would win or whatever. So now it's interesting because, we talked about it, about okay, well, does Mike Bailey now turn heel with Kevin Knight? Kevin Knight big timing him, brushing him off, and then obviously attacking him afterwards. Okay, the line's there. He wants to pursue this. And then what did you think, though, about the interaction with Kyle Fletcher, Don Callis, and Kevin Knight there? Do we see – I thought they were going to do Fletcher maybe wanting his title back, but instead I think Callis may just want to recruit him.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like more that we possibly could get is it looked like there may have been an interest on the part of Don Callis. Not necessarily an interest of, Kevin Knight going against Fletcher, really. But I've noticed that I got the vibe as more of like a recruitment, like an interest there.
Yeah. Yep. Again, interested to see where it turns out for sure. Definitely think, obviously, Speedball versus Kevin Knight. I think Knight he has to go on this heel turn now, right? He's got to go on a decent little run here until Darby Allin comes back, and then that's going to be the.
Yeah, I would figure you'd probably have Darby Allin go against Kevin Knight on one of the next major pay-per-views, which I believe is Forbidden Door.
Yeah.
Okay, July. Do we know where that pay-per-view is?
Canada? I think I'm just making stuff up, but I want to say it's Canada.
Yeah, because I know Montreal's getting Redemption July 26th.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Okay. I don't know. I'll have to look it up, but they said it was going to be New Japan, CMLL, and Stardom would be the companies they're working with, which is fine. I'm curious to see where and how. I mean, obviously, I think they'd probably integrate Callum from New Japan. Obviously, his ties with Osprey and the United Empire, but we'll see.
Yeah, so Kevin Knight looking good here, at least for tonight. So it's interesting to see where they go with this character development. But yeah, it's very likely, we'll probably get Mike Bailey as his first opponent for sure before we even get to Kevin Knight Darby. I would probably expect, Mike Bailey to be a Dynamite opponent, possibly. If not, maybe Forbidden Door, and then Darby Allin. I think it would probably make sense to do that at Redemption. Darby Allin versus Kevin Knight.
It's in the name.
Yep. Yeah, that's why I said, I'm like, oh, Redemption. That sounds like it's a pretty fitting event for it. Yeah, so that feud is going to be pretty good. I'm looking to see them go one-on-one. That's going to be an absolute banger for sure.
Just don't blink. You know what I mean?
No.
That's going to be fast action.
Yeah, you
Spot
cannot
fest.
be looking down. You cannot be looking down or blinking at all when these two guys go one-on-one for sure. And last but not least, tonight we're going to talk about the MJF celebration. Apparently, MJF is a marked man. Everybody, even Kevin Knight ran into MJF earlier in the night and saying how, one day he's going to come after that championship. Not to mention you got the winner of whoever the Owen Hart tournament's going to be looming and the challenger for that championship. So, and then you have people challenging MJF out of nowhere, which I believe are just going to be filler matches until we get to like the main pay-per-view stuff that they want to get to.
Right.
But so yeah, we had MJF. He came out and did the celebration, which I thought was really cool. We had the whole banner thing and the balloons and the little 3 balloons and the confetti, which I thought was pretty cool. So, would you like to run this down a little bit?
Absolutely. I think AEW is a better product when MJF is at the top or in the title scene. Yes. His charisma, his name recognition outside of wrestling is going to only help boost that, right? The fact that he is young, the fact that he's articulate, the fact that he's a bit of a jerk, right? That there's some charisma there. That's all going to help boost AEW. It's going to help boost him, too, in his next contract negotiation. And he's very smart, and I hope nothing but the best for him because, these guys are one bad move away from now we have a GoFundMe, right? And so, I think this is a great, the championship celebration, MJF doing it up big, the banner, the glitz, the glam. Hey, man, 3-time champ, and he backs it up. Yeah, he's a bad guy. He's a jerk. He's a D-bag. But that's his shtick, right? And, that's the thing. I mean, to your point, these filler matches in between, I 100% agree. It's not going to be, unless it's like Darby Allin in Seattle or something random like that, I don't think that's going to happen again. I think it's going to be, he'll probably run through Roosh. Mark Briscoe coming out, they have their history there, right? The redneck stuff and all that, getting deeply personal. MJF bringing up Mark Briscoe's brother in their last feud and all that. There's stuff there. So I don't know if maybe he uses Roosh and other opponents ahead of Mark Briscoe, and then maybe Briscoe stacks some wins, and then it leads to now there's nobody else but me at the pay-per-view or something to that effect, leading up to the inevitable who wins the Owen Hart tournament, and then that's going to happen at All In. Also, too, at All In, they have the casino, not the casino, but there's that, the casino gauntlet, right, where they have the contract, which MJF had, the guaranteeing and the title shot, too. So it's not like it's going to get easier. I'm curious to see because they even planted the seeds with Andrade. And Andrade, I got to say, man, Andrade's matches these have been phenomenal. His presentation's been great. I think right now has been some of his best work, at least in his AEW runs. So yeah, MJF's championship celebration. There's a lot of people throwing their name into the hat or their hat into the ring, wanting to basically say, "Hey, look, we want that title too, good, bad, and different. Whether they're good guys, bad guys, or in between, that title means you're the man, you're the top of the company, and they want it." Roosh, that match is going to be a hard hitting match. Roosh brings it, you know what I mean? And his promo was actually really funny, calling him a chicken farmer and then MJF. You know what I mean? Like that was funny, and like okay, yeah, I can laugh, but at the same time too, oh, you talk about some meat slapping. Roosh is gonna chop the heck out of him, and it's gonna still be entertaining because Max will sell, and Max will have a great match. He'll put Roosh over in every way, but at the end, he gets the 1, 2, 3, call it an easy dub, and then move on, right? What do you think?
I mean, listen, I think you nailed it right on the head. I mean, you got to keep MJF heated up in the meantime until we get to the good stuff. And while that's happening, Will Osprey is already heated up, but he's going to be heating up some more as he goes through the Owen Hart tournament. So everything that we're seeing right now is really just going to point us to Wembley. They talk about Wembley Stadium more than All In more than any other pay-per-view that's coming up. It's almost as if like they're not even talking about Forbidden Door, not much about Redemption. Like everything's all pointing towards Wembley right now, and just hearing these announcers and stuff. So they're clearly building to Wembley. So again, they're gonna be heating up. Give MJF a couple things to do. It'll be a couple of good stuff. I don't see. Maybe Andrade, maybe. I don't see Mark Briscoe as a world champion. Neither do I see Roosh. But they'll be using those guys to, kind of keep MJF heated up in the meantime. And, we know where they're going.
Yeah.
We absolutely know where they're going.
I mean, and
you hit the nail on the head. Like, AEW is at its best when MJF is the title holder or in the title scene.
It's must. You want to see what he's gonna say. Like when he and Punk were going with the verbal jabs back and forth, that was because it was wow. It's they can put on a banger of a match. That's great. But now I'm invested. I want to know what they're going to say or how they build upon that. That's intriguing. They've got me hook, line, and sinker. So, yeah, I'm curious to see, obviously MJF's run, or, I mean, who knows? They would at least, the people that are going to be in Wembley for All In, and All In, this Owen tournament, I equate it to the Rumble because the winner then gets that guaranteed title shot. And All In was their first pay-per-view. This is their Mania. And, I think it's kind of dope because they want to pump those numbers up. But wouldn't it be kind of gnarly if MJF is still the champion and he beats Osprey in Wembley? That would be – because, I mean, he could say that he hanged the hangman. He what was it? He did something else most recently too, and when he didn't think he was going to do it, and now to say he beat Will Ospreay in his own home, you know what I mean? That's quite a who knows? We'll see. I think they give it the payoff. I think they do the title anyway, but I don't know. I'm an MJF fan, so the longer the run, I feel like the more interesting it gets. But we'll see.
Absolutely. Speaking of All In, I was just thinking to myself, what if AEW moves the All In pay-per-view for next year only, moves it to mid-April, while WWE is doing WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia? A lot of WWE fans are not going to travel out there. Me, I just simply don't want to travel out there because I don't know if I could be on a plane for 12 hours. I really don't. I'd have to time it right with my sleep and everything. But anyway, and a lot of travel time. But AEW could take advantage of this and do a stadium show right here, April 2027. On US
to
soil.
a spring break something, put it somewhere, kind of dope. Make it, like you said, a stadium show. I mean, I don't know if, because with the time difference, right? What time would the Saudi Arabia show end? You could theoretically do it the same day, still be able to. It's a lot of wrestling, but wrestling fans are crazy. You just laid it out. You can watch wrestling 7 days a week now.
I don't think they would do Mania. That'd be wild if Mania and All In were the same day, but just like this, maybe around the same general time frame of the month.
Right.
Because they know that WWE fans are not going to go out there. Maybe they can capitalize, and maybe some WWE fans that normally go to WrestleManias may want to go to a stadium show and All In.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it'll be interesting because to your point, that's not really one that I'm not going to go on a flight to Saudi Arabia to watch WrestleMania. You know what I mean? It's not appealing to me. Don't get me wrong. Like if it was like somewhere better, like if you told me it was going to be like, I don't know, even London, maybe, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
hands down London, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But like Saudi Arabia, I feel is like just I know why they're doing it for the money, but like it's I'm not getting paid to do it. You know what I mean? So yeah,
it was definitely a thought that people have thrown out there in the past about All In.
yeah.
Or a major pay-per-view of some sort being done on U.S. soil, while WrestleMania is not living on U.S. soil. Oh,
It would get eyeballs.
What happened?
It would get eyeballs, or even people attending, like you said, that otherwise wouldn't have been there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Well, that pretty much covers everything that we need to talk about. Shiv, any last moment, comments about AEW this week you would like to share before we go off the air?
No, I think it'll be interesting to see who replaces Willow Nightingale as the wild card. Her injury being untimely for sure, but we'll see. I mean,
not to mention, I think they said that she has to vacate the
TBS title. Yeah,
TBS title. Yeah, so that's interesting to see what they're gonna do there. Maybe they have a women's TBS championship tournament after Owen Hart tournament's done, which I think would be a great thing because it just makes for more meaningful one-on-one singles matches for the women.
I agree. I'm. Do you have any guesses who that might be?
Whew.
Didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Maybe like a Jamie Hayter. I would think maybe Jamie Hayter or Chris Statlander, possibly. Mina. I think Mina would be great. So
Yeah,
we'll have to see.
I think the wild card might actually end up being like a return. Like I don't know if Tony Storm's healed.
Oh, as far as the wild card of the okay, who the wild card might be.
Or is it? Does she come back? The CEO?
Possibly, maybe. How long has she been out for?
It's been she lost her title to Willow, and then she's quietly been losing her indie titles and everything like that along the way. So like, I don't know, but like this will be an odd way to bring her back now, like a Willow injury. So I don't know, maybe they debut somebody. I don't know. I think that'd be kind of dope though. But I don't know if Tekla versus Mercedes would be the payoff in Wembley. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, we'd have to see what's gonna happen there for sure. I mean, she's been out for a while. I know Tony Storm is gonna be out for the remainder of the year, which they've said undisclosed reason why. So we're not gonna have her for a while. And anybody? Ooh, maybe like Dakota Kai.
Cool.
How about Dakota Kai?
Yeah.
That would not
Charlie
be a bad replacement.
Yeah, right? Yeah, no, that would be an interesting one. I mean, a familiar
she's
face.
out there. She is definitely out there, kind of like a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
So
Interesting to see, man. But yeah, we'll catch up next time, bud.
Yeah, AEW is heating up. We have a big Clash in Italy this Sunday, which is going to be a very, very loaded pay-per-view for the 5 matches that they have. All the matches are going to be good. We'll be hopping on back then. But for those of you guys that are watching, thank you so much. Feel free to share this. Hit that like button, subscribe. That'll help us out. And Shiv, thanks again for hopping on tonight.
Yeah, man.
We will see you guys very soon. Catch you guys later.
Take care.
Agility from the champion.
Oh, 10-6.
That could be it. Delivered this